right, findyourfx.com partnered up with Bulletproof Traders. Guys, we're back with the Forex Trader the Day and Market Watch List. It's going to be super interesting today. But before we dive in, I want to mention on Sunday, this coming Sunday, we're going to have a free webinar about supply and demand. So if you guys want to know how to identify solid supply and demand levels and how to apply that to the market in real time, that's going to be the topic of our webinar on Sunday. I'm going to put a link to that webinar in the description of this video, so go ahead, check it out and subscribe. Yeah, let's go ahead, dive in. Forex Trader the Day, for me today, it's the silver. And I know what you're thinking, silver is a commodity, but it's behaving as a Forex currency. And both the silver and the gold have more characteristics similar to the foreign exchange market than, you know, the commodity market or the precious metal market. So I do consider these two as part of the Forex family, Forex currency group. And the silver presents a very, very compelling technical situation for a potential downside reversal. That's what we're talking about. We already pulled the trigger, by the way. Probably jumped the gun a little bit with this one because the actual trigger to jump into position is 31.57. This black line that's, by the way, been touched by price action today and immediately backed off. I do believe it will finish, it will cross over and break through. But let's talk about the technical situation here, right? So looking at this from the big picture, we'll start with the big picture, monthly chart. This is where we're coming from. There's a trading range that we've been able to capture ever since May. So ever since May, there was a bit of a back and forth exchange here inside a defined channel. And price action just, a couple of months ago is coming from the top, the very last level, highest level of resistance, 33.43. It tried to penetrate, but got that rejection, left a big spike slicing that area. And from that point forward, we saw that downside reversal. Price action was starting to turn around and make its way towards the lower section. It was supposed to make contact with 29.49, but it missed it by a tiny, tiny margin right here, and then went straight up. I believe this month is a technical correction to the previous month. Well, a technical correction to the move that's coming from the top of that tip of that spike. By the way, the level, the price over there at the highest high there was 34.85. So it was coming from 34.85 all the way down to 29.60. And this month, I believe it's a technical correction to that previous downside move. I feel like the break below 31.57 with the monthly breakdown confirmation, that's the key to this downside cycle. And price action right now pushing against that 31.57, kind of testing it from below. And we see price action starting to pull back. I feel like by the end of the month, it will be closing that monthly bar below 31.57 and continue to, resume the original downside move and eventually make contact with 29.49, potentially even penetrate into the lower section. So potentially go beyond 29.49, but we're going to be focusing on 29.49 as our primary target and final destination. So that's the view from the big picture monthly perspective. Weekly chart is also quite interesting because here we have a second trading range that started to develop around the middle of November. So yeah, about a month ago. So we have a trading range which is local, short-term trading range inside a bigger scale trading range that's coming from the monthly chart, right? And that's actually a good thing, because we have an alignment between these two setups. So just showed you from the monthly perspective, we expect price action to dip below 31.57. But from the short-term perspective, there's this 1, 2, 3 setup. There's this trading range, like I said, captured with the blue system, right? And you can see price action going up all the way to the last line of resistance, 31.96 here, and spiking it, not just once, but twice and 3 times yesterday. I mean, today was the 3rd time in a row, back to back, price action spiking that 31.95. So it looks like it's starting to turn around right off that area, which is not surprising at all. And we feel like there are 2 levels to work with as far as profit target goes. One that I already mentioned, that's going to be final destination 29.49, right? I've mentioned that one before. But there's one that's closer, represents the short-term cycle, and that would be 30.10. So we're starting with 30.10 as our first target. We only have 1 trade in. We're kind of testing the water. Like I said, kind of jumped the gun a little bit because price action didn't really break through, broke below 31.57, which is our official trigger, right? So once it does and starts to base itself below 31.57, we're going to get more aggressive, probably double up our position size, and then we'll start to incorporate the final destination 29.49, the primary target, right? So we're going to be working with both of these targets as long as price action is indeed turning around, and that remains to be seen. All right, stop loss level, by the way, 33 flat. That's all you need to know about this.